Can Brics overtake the G7 as a global powerhouse? These two groupings, each with its own unique composition and objectives, play important roles in international affairs and the global economy. So, how do these two groupings compare in terms of growth and dominance? Like this video and subscribe now to our channel, and let's talk about it. Brics is made up of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, which are emerging economies that are growing rapidly. While the G7, which is short for the Group of Seven, is made up of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Combined, these countries are considered to be developed and have traditionally been dominant players in the global economy. Let's start with the origins of each group by explaining when and how the two groups were formed. As indicated, the G7 stands for the Group of Seven. This is an informal forum of the world's 7 largest advanced economies. The group initially started in 1975 as the Group of Six, made up of France, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, the United States, and West Germany. The group came together to discuss economic issues, which at the time included inflation and recession. Canada joined the following year. At the invitation of the G7 leaders, Russia was invited first as a guest observer and later as a full participant. After the 1997 meeting, Russia was then formally invited to the next meeting and formally joined the group in 1998, resulting in the G8. Its admission was intended as a signal of cooperation between the East and the West, and the group became known as the G8, or the Group of Eight. In 2014, the then G7 leaders resolved to remove Russia from its grouping, based on what these leaders termed as a violation of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity by Russia. Brics is an acronym that started as BRIC in 2001, which initially stood for Brazil, China, India, and Russia. This acronym was coined by Jim O'Neill, an economist at Goldman Sachs, in its research report titled Build Better Global Economic Brics. In this report, Goldman Sachs claimed that, by 2050, the global economy would be dominated by the 4 BRIC economies. The main reason for such a claim was that China, India, Brazil, and Russia, now including South Africa, were among the fastest growing and emerging economies in the world. South Africa was added to this group of countries in 2010 to become Brics. The main comparative advantage of this group of countries is its low labor costs, favorable demographics, and abundant natural resources. The objectives of Brics include strengthening economic cooperation, promoting sustainable development, and enhancing global governance. While the G7's objectives include enhancing global economic growth and addressing global challenges. In terms of the GDP, the Brics countries currently account for 32% of the global GDP, against the G7's 30%, while the rest of the world contributes the remaining 39%. GDP, or Gross Domestic Product, is a key measure of economic activity and is used to assess the overall health and size of an economy. Essentially, GDP provides an insight into the economic performance, growth, and standard of living of a country. In terms of economic size, the Brics countries are now catching up to the G7 countries. The combined GDP of Brics countries, at purchasing power parity, is now larger than the G7 countries, and is expected to continue to grow faster in the coming years. This is due to the rapid growth of the Brics economies, which are driven by factors such as strong population growth, rising incomes, and increasing urbanization. Speaking of population size, the 5 Brics countries account for 40% of the world's population, while the grouping of the G7 countries make up an estimated 10% of the world's population. Another interesting stat is that Brics countries currently represent about 26% of the total global land surface of the Earth. The remaining member states of the G7, on the other hand, represent 15% of the world's surface area. Some of the challenges faced by Brics countries include inequality, corruption, and environmental degradation, while some key challenges for the G7 countries include economic disparities, climate change and sustainability, as well as the rise in nationalism. In conclusion, Brics countries continue to have a growing political influence on the global arena. Brics countries are also increasingly seen as a counterbalance to the dominance of the G7. Brics countries have also been working together to promote their common interests on the global stage. For example, some Brics countries have been critical of the G7's sanctions on Russia and have called for a more inclusive approach to global governance. It is without doubt that Brics and the G7 are two important groupings that are shaping the global economy. The future of the relationship between Brics and the G7 is, however, uncertain, but it is likely to be a major factor in the global economy in the years to come. We've come to the end of this video on the comparison between Brics and the G7. So, thank you for watching. Please take time to check out our other videos on public administration, public finance, public sector governance, as well as the administration of government. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content. And remember to turn on the notification button to make sure that you don't miss out when we post new videos. You can also connect with us by following us on social media at ConsultKano and continue the conversation by leaving us a comment below or tagging us on social media using the hashtag ConsultKano. Thank you again for watching. Join us again next time for another video. Until then, check out these other videos. Kano Consultants. For professional advice you can trust.